Hello everyone, Joe from STEMPunX here. We're beginning a new feature this year. Each month, on the 20th, instead of our regular podcast of 15 to 20 minutes, we will target about 6 minutes. We will talk about something that currently excites us and commands our interest. It might be from the news, other podcasts, our sponsors, or our STEMPunX partners. Here's the first one. I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to STEMPunX.
Welcome to STEMPunX. STEMPunX is a bi-monthly podcast intended to bring
science,
technology,
engineering,
Math.
straight to your ears from our STEMPunX studio. Hang on, we'll take you for a ride that includes a whole lot of fun and a little bit of education on the side. Stay tuned. Welcome to the STEMPunX Podcast. My name is Joe Garoutte, and I'll be your host. And with me, as always, is my buddy STEMbot. Hello, STEMbot.
Hello, Joe.
STEMbot, I think it's important to let everybody know that this week, we are recording on a 10-year-old laptop.
It's a good thing you saved me in a backup so that I am able to be here with you this week.
That's right, STEMbot. It's really important to back up your devices because you never know when tragedy is going to strike. And I've had it strike twice in the last month. About a month ago, my battery started giving me trouble on my iPhone, and I put it off as long as possible, but now it's time to do something about it. Rather than replace the whole thing, I've decided to replace the battery. That means that my expense will be about $25 instead of, who knows, $800. Also, about 3 days ago, when I started to get ready for this podcast, I opened my laptop, and there was a blue screen. It hasn't fired up since. In the case of that one, I don't think I can get in and repair anything. So, what did I do? I ordered a refurbished iMac to replace it. Now for me, buying new isn't a good option. I have a comfort level with replacing electronic components, so changing the battery out is just fine. For those of you who are not comfortable with that, recycling is the best option. We definitely don't want those items going in the landfill. And today, my guest is David Skakel with Tri-County Hazardous Waste and Recycling. STEMbot, will you call up that interview?
Sure, Joe.
Yeah, David Skakel here, and I manage a 3-county hazardous waste and recycling program. We essentially collect hazardous waste from households and businesses and farmers and responsibly dispose of that, although about 3/4 of it's recycled. And the other half of what we do is more in the background with policy guidance and then outreach to the communities and being a conduit between the garbage company and customers about what we call smart materials management, garbage and recycling.
Well, that's great. That's great because we definitely need to do our share in recycling as opposed to just filling up the landfills. Now, when we called you about this, you were excited because you had a new program that you're starting to implement, if I have that right. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I have a new program in mind, Joe. We're awaiting additional staff that we're on the cusp of hiring, but essentially our program is tasked with being the program coordinator for the Oregon Green Schools, almost 25 schools in 3 counties. And there's a real opportunity there to help the schools sort of green up, if you will, their practices and processes, procurement of things, behaviors, recycling operations, etc. Instead of being the teacher, we could act as a conduit about good ideas that are already occurring in the schools. We just want to help tell the story. And so the way we would do that is encourage the schools to go out and do short films about anything relevant they're doing in the realm of hazardous waste or materials management and post it on a local YouTube channel. And that would sort of cross-pollinate those ideas.
That sounds fantastic. Now, you mentioned staffing. What are the job opportunities there?
Well, I find it fascinating. There's so many different layers. You could be on the technical side of designing products that are recyclable or that are less toxic or what have you. Processes for recycling, like the batteries that you dealt with your computers today, how to properly transform those materials into recycled usable materials. There's behavioral research, there's advertising and marketing. It's not as simple, Joe, as recycling's good, so more recycling is better. We have to really come to understand how to rank and prioritize what our strategies are for materials management. I mean, it's hard to stomach, but there are currently packaging materials out there that are made of virgin material, and they're not recyclable, but they're the best environmental choice at this moment.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Well, one thing I want to get for sure before we get off the phone with you here is I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your collection events. I know that you have a calendar on your website, and we'll put that in the show notes, but you actually make the effort to get out into the communities and collect hazardous waste, don't you?
Yeah, we're excited to say we're the first program in the state of Oregon that pulled together several municipalities, 3 counties, 6 cities. We've been collecting hazardous waste since 2006, and we do about 20 events a year in the 3 counties, and we do big events 4 times a year in both Hood River and the Dalles, and then we do typically once a year events in smaller communities.
That's fantastic. I saw a really good comprehensive list there on your website, so we'll make sure that's in there.
Yeah, we just, in the last 2 years, we started collecting electronics, as you mentioned, e-waste, and it's been incredible. It's like doubled our participation, and it attracted more hazardous waste.
That's great. That's great. All right, David. Well, thank you so much for your time on the podcast today, and we look forward to getting that information out to everyone.
Yeah, appreciate it. I hope you invite me back, and I'd just like to put a plug in that in the recycling materials management world, there are plenty of problems out there that need solving, and I hope some of the students listening are piqued in their interest and want to help out.
We do too. Thank you, David.
Likewise. Take care.
All right, bye now. So as you heard David there are many things that go beyond just recycling. But clearly, with electronic devices, we have to make some choices. I have chosen to replace a battery and use a used computer. That may not be the choice for you. Either way, we have to be conscious of what's going on our planet. I hope you enjoyed this shorter version of the podcast, and we hope to see you back soon. Say goodbye, STEMbot.
Goodbye, STEMBot.
Ready to hear everything you've got to say.